What's up, y'all? It's JokermanUno here, back at you with another hot take. This time talking to you about Pokemon Legends ZA, Pokemon Legends Zaza, as I will henceforth be referring to it throughout the rest of this video. Coming at you single take with my thoughts, my honest opinion of what I really think about the latest Pokemon game. A lot of controversy right now, a lot of people going varying extremes on how they feel about the game, and I know my opinion is going to be seen as feckless. It's going to be treated as if I'm, you know, riding the fence and not coming to you with a extremist opinion. And I know being sensible on the internet is boring, but honestly, I think the new Pokemon game is okay. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's the second coming of Pokemon. I never thought it would be. This is a spin-off game, first of all. But it's also has room for improvement. Where Legends ZA takes a few steps forward, it takes even more steps back when you look at Arceus. And honestly, I've been saying, these games are building to what will be the next iteration of what Pokemon will feel like in the main games in Gen 10. But I've been saying that since Pokemon Sword and Shield when they introduced the wild area. What I thought the wild area in that game would be is how it is in Arceus. And what I thought would be the latest upgrade in Arceus is now a downgrade in Legends ZA. There's no stealthy mechanics, really, like there are in Arceus. It doesn't matter as much. A lot of aspects make me feel like I'm fighting Pokemon in the wild and that this is like the next step in gameplay, but in other instances, I do miss the format of a turn-based traditional Pokemon fighter, especially given that this one is much more battle mechanic motivated as opposed to catching Pokemon centric as Arceus was. I do wish that the turn-based system would return when you fight trainers or what would be gym leaders. And even in Arceus, my least favorite part of the game were fighting the gigantic alpha Pokemon, or in this case, Mega Evolved Pokemon, and having to dodge, roll them away from you, like taking damage from your character as well as battle. I've never been a fan of that, and that's back to full effect here. I don't know. I think some people have to come to the unfortunate conclusion that they've outgrown these games also. I don't think that Power World was ever in the scope of what Pokemon wanted to do, and just because Power World took off doesn't mean that that's what Pokemon now needs to do. I think they are two completely distinct things, in spite of what the Nintendo company thinks with what is all of its patents and attempts to sue and defamation, which in the beginning did merit some sort of legal response, but now they're like putting like catching mechanics, and they're just putting patents on anything that will stick, essentially, while they're over here making like Minecraft reskins with Pokemon. I forget what the game is called, but it's basically Minecraft but with Pokemon. That's neither here nor there. I'm talking about Legends. But that's the thing, people are taking their already biased and jaded opinion of Game Freak and what they think Game Freak should be doing with the property at this point, or how they feel about Nintendo and how they treat their consumers, down to people who try and emulate their games, to this stuff with Power World, and bringing that baggage into how they feel about the game. Most of these people who are super complaining about Legends ZA already had his opinion before the game came out, and they're just now talking about it because the game is now out. Yeah, it's sickening being a Pokemon fan. It's a cyclical nature. Game, you hear nothing about Pokemon for a while, and then you start hearing stuff about Pokemon, and the hype ensues. And then the closer we get to launch, the more complaints you hear. And then when it finally launches, there's a great divide of people who enjoy the game and a divide of people who don't. And then you write that out until it's a couple of years and you're waiting for Pokemon news, and people are like, that last game was really good, and people were just complaining about it. I think the only game that missed that cycle was Arceus, because it was just such a breath of fresh air. And honestly, hopefully this is what Gen 10 kind of equals out to be, an amalgamation of everything we've seen from Gen 9 and these Legend games. But I don't really have much hope. These games for me are strictly casual games. I like to shut off my brain and play them. I super need something like that in my life right now, and thankfully a Pokemon game has come out when I need it most. And yeah, I'm like learning all the new shiny methods, and these are the reasons why I play Pokemon games. And like, I know what I'm getting. I don't expect every new release for Pokemon to be the second coming. I've way grown out of that cyclical Pokemon cycle I was just explaining to you to fall for that again. Um, the only time I'll ever feel that way is if Pokemon and Nintendo literally say that in their Pokemon and Nintendo Directs. Until then, those are expectations that you are putting on yourself, or allowing the fan base to dictate to you. I will say that this is not a system seller like I thought it would be, and I'm so glad that I didn't get a Switch 2 in order to play this. I'm so glad that I got this on my OG Switch 1 because it plays just fine on it, and the fact that there's even 2 versions of it tells you that it's not a Switch 2 game. It is definitely a rolled back thing, just like Scarlet and Violet plays better on a Switch 2. This game plays better on a Switch 2 just because of the graphical, the internals of the system, not barring the software, even though the software does run pretty well on the Switch 1 as opposed to Arceus. Arceus, I had a lot of problems in Arceus, and I know that there's some footage of some player falling through the floor. I haven't seen that happen to me, and I've been playing the Switch 1 version for about 20 hours now. Yeah, you take the good with the bad with Pokemon. It's unfortunate that there's some things about Arceus I love more in ZA. There are a few things in ZA I love more than in Arceus, don't get it twisted. Like, the customization is fantastic. I wish there were a few more people of color hairstyles, but that's, you know, notwithstanding. I love all the outfits. I hate that you can't release all your Pokemon at the same time like you could in Arceus. You have to go to a bench to do that. I love the idea of expanded cities. Hopefully, there are more expanded cities like this in Gen 10. I do love a lot of the new Mega forms, especially Starmie. I am a fan of the Starmie joint. And all the memes that are coming out of it. And yeah, it's just okay. It sits squarely like in the center. It's obviously it's not as good as Arceus, but I am still having fun with it. But it's also nothing to write home about. Like, this isn't in my top 10 of the year. I'll say that. Or maybe it is. I don't know how many games I've played that are new this year. All right, I'm babbling at this point. That's the end of the video, guys. Thank you for listening out for me. You may see me streaming this game later on during the week, or, you know, for the next few weeks as I'm shiny hunting. Pop in, say what's up. Peace.